Hi everyone, so today's video is going to be my end of December updates. So I'm starting with my new acquisition. This one is Bulbophyllum Kalimpong, and I got this from a member of our Orchid Society who's quite sick and she can't take care of a lot of her plants, so she has given some away, so I've taken this one. Pink Orchidea also has this plant and I really like the flowers, so I'm gonna try my best to keep this alive. It was previously living in a terrarium and I don't have a terrarium set up, so for now I've just put some damp moss around the plant. In other news, I decided to move the Vanda leucostele that was bare roots into moss. I just noticed nothing was happening, so I think this might be better for it. As with the other Vanda leucostele seedlings, I still have issues with thrips. They seem fine right now, but they seem to be reoccurring, so I'm keeping a close eye on these ones. And the same can be said for these ones as well. This one had a thrip on it, but it cleared up, and haven't seen it since, fingers crossed. If you're wondering what that white powder stuff, it's diatomaceous earth. I had applied it all over the plants to see if that would kill them off, but it did not. I don't think there's a way I can really apply it so that the insects can crawl on them and kill themselves on it, so that's why I don't think it worked for these. And this is my Aerides quinquevelnera, still in spike, 2 spikes, but on this spike it's starting to form the little spurs, so that means it should be blooming relatively soon, I think. And so far no bud blasts, which is great. And this is my Dendrobium Sherry Abe in spike and in bud. Not as good as the first blooming, but at least it's something. This is my Phalaenopsis subparishii, and it's still in spike. The spikes haven't really grown, but they are very still alive, so that's good. And this one is my Epidendrum ciliare, and it never ended up blooming for me at all. It just dried up inside here, although the new growth seems to be doing pretty well. And this is my Gastrochilus obliquus, and it had a bit of a fungal problem, so I've cut off all the stuff that had spotting on it. This is my Leptotes bicolor, and it's starting to push out a couple flower spikes down there. And this is Masdevallia amplexa, and it's pushing out lots of spikes, so that's really good. And this one is Galeandra baueri. It has 1 bud on it. It's kind of growing a bit weird. See, these pseudobulbs are being used up, but this one is fine. This one is crooked. I'm half tempted just to repot everything and just rearrange it and get rid of those bulbs, but not right now. And this is Coryanthes misasii. It doesn't seem to be doing super great. Ever since I've cleaned it up, none of these bulbs have really plumped up. This one is the latest one. I mean, it looks okay, but it's not great. It hasn't really pushed out too many good roots into the pot, so it's still kind of wobbly. And in the back there is Trichoglottis pusilla, and what I thought was a bud appears to be a side shoot. This is Gongora portentosa, and that growth is still doing good. It hasn't rotted like a lot of the previous growth, so pretty happy about that. And this is my Bulbophyllum sanguineopunctatum, and it's finally pushing out a new growth. It's still very unstable in the pot, so I just water it here when I can. And this is my Thecostele alata. It's doing pretty well. I think putting it on a heat mat was a good idea. You can see that this leaf looks kind of weird, but this leaf is very clean, so that's good. At the bottom, you can see it's gonna start pushing out a new root very soon. And this is Dendrobium carineferum, and it's pushed out keikis on this older growth, which I'm not really complaining about. And all these dendrobiums are currently being rested still. This is Dendrobium igneoniveum, and it has yet to establish itself into the pot. You can see the leaves are yellowing, and this one has completely lost all its leaves. I'm thinking of putting it on a heat mat, even though it'll be kind of out of season for it, but at least to get some roots going. And this is Dendrobium linawianum. I'm also resting it. I think I'm resting it a bit too hard though, because it's quite shriveled. And this is my Phal NOID that I got on my birthday a while back, and it's in spike, and it's pushing out a secondary spike here. Last but not least, this is Bulbophyllum Princess Bejaratana, and it is in bud again. So the last two buds, I believe, were here. But I think the problem why they rotted off and failed was because it was too wet, I think, and probably not warm enough for that amount of constant moisture. So what I've been doing instead was just watering it and leaving the reservoir empty. So when this dries, I give it water. And so far that seems to be working. You can see one on the top and one on the bottom there. And they seem to be getting bigger, so I think that's working. Alrighty, so that's my video for today. I should probably mention one thing I changed in my grow space, which you can't see, is I have a fan going just in the morning to help circulate the air around this space, because I did notice a few fungal spots on a few of my plants, so I'm hoping it'll help with that. And it's good to have good airflow in general anyway. Alright, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!